Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos and Abuja. A reminder of our top stories. United States government gives Nigeria thumbs up for what it calls good management of Ebola virus disease. The federal government denies reports that over 600,000 people have been displaced in the northeast of the country. Pengasan, New Peng on collision course with Ajib Oil over gas maintenance contract in Port Harcourt. And Israel responds to Gaza's rockets, carries out airstrike against the city. A quick reminder to you now that all our top stories are on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Do visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Of course, you can interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android, iOS and Windows 8 platforms. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and then follow the instructions. Well, over now to Abuja. Here's Linda Akigbe. Linda.
Hello, Joma, and welcome to the nation's capital. The Nigerian military today dismissed the claims by a faceless Nigerian soldier who says there are plans by some of his colleagues to move against their leadership over poor weapons used to engage the insurgents. The group of soldiers claim they would refuse to fight the Islamist Boko Haram militants until they receive equipment. But the Director of Defense Information, Major General Chris Olukolade, in his response this evening, said the statement by the faceless soldier is a demonstration of cowardice on his part, as soldiers don't ignore orders once given. He called the soldier one of the elements in the army used to spread falsehood. General Olukolade insists that the military is well equipped and no general in the military will send a soldier to war without appropriate arms. In his words, and I quote, "The degree of cowardice is not in the character of a real soldier of the Nigerian army. The series of lies contained in the alleged responses of the faceless person referred to as a soldier confirms the whole arrangement as another step of the mischief makers working for terrorists. No soldier has been sent on any mission without being armed. Each soldier answers for his action in terms of discipline," end of quote. The Minister of Interior, Mr. Abamoro, has disagreed with the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, which put the number of internally displaced persons in the Northeast at over 600,000 as at July 2014. In an interview with Channels Television, the Minister acknowledged that the violence in the region has continued to affect lives, but added that the number of displaced persons cannot be easily pegged. The Refugee Commission had raised an alarm over the growing number of refugees and migrants in the country. Our correspondent Gloria Mezuki reports.
The number of people forced to flee their homes as a result of the unabated activities of insurgents in the country is, to say the least, alarming. But figures from the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons put at 600,000 the number of persons displaced in the Northeast as of July 2014.
Overwhelming all of us, considering that the resources are not commensurate with, the magnitude of the problem. But we are trying to see how we could put our heads together to bring in more partners and come up with creative ways to see how we could address the problem. But certainly it's very challenging.
It is not in contention that various states are dealing with issues to do with migrants, refugees and displaced persons, but how this is managed by the federal government is the question here.
People have been displaced. People have been settled. And so I think it will not be completely correct and wise to continue to place your hands and your fingers on any numbers now, because even people who are displaced definitely are in even the line of action as we are talking about now. And so how convenient will it be for anybody now to come forth with a figure as many as 600,000. I think that it is sufficient for us to agree that because of the crisis that is raging in that part of the country, that certainly some persons have been displaced by the day and by the hour, but that the federal government is taking every necessary step to ensure that pending the final resolution of the conflict, that people who are displaced are sufficiently taken care of.
While observing the World Humanitarian Day, the Federal Commissioner advocates that a posthumous Humanitarian Service Award be given to the 2 nurses who died after contracting the Ebola virus disease from the index case. Gloria Omezuke, Channels Television News.
30,000 more polling units have been created across the Federation ahead of the 2015 general elections, which brings the total number of polling units nationwide to 150,000. This development is expected to help decongest the already overpopulated polling units, which are more than the numbers prescribed in the Nigerian Electoral Act. The approved reallocation of 150,000 polling units nationwide shows that Lagos leads in terms of proportional distribution, followed by Kano, Kaduna, and Oyo states. And 4 people have been killed in a bloody clash between supporters of the People's Democratic Party and All Progressive Congress in Dedare district of Obi local government area of Nasarawa State, north-central Nigeria. According to the police, trouble started on Monday when a lawmaker and his PDP supporters were allegedly confronted by APC supporters in Dedare while on his way home after the sitting of the State Assembly, where a resolution was taken to petition the State Chief Judge before the National Judicial Council.
The member representing that area in Nasarawa State House of Assembly, Honorable C.D. Bago, was going back to his country home in the midst of his supporters in a convoy when they had misunderstanding between themselves and APC supporters. The member is a PDP member, so we were able to calm the situation as at yesterday. But today in the morning, for some obvious reasons, we had a repeat of what happened yesterday. Along the line, during the stone throwing, as I may put it, a gunman was macheted in the hand. We took him to the hospital. It led to the amputation of the hand, his left hand. So later in the day, his kinsmen, on hearing that incident, mobilized and went to the town for reprisal attack. However, we've already beefed up security in the area. The policemen are there, both conventional and the MOPOL, that is the mobile police, and military. So upon seeing us, they cannot enter the town. They went to the hinterland where these people go to farm. So they met and killed. For now, we've recovered 4 corpses in those areas, in those farms. And those areas mostly are not even accessible because we had to abandon our vehicles at certain points for us to go and pick up those corpses.
The police today arrested 14 members of the Ebonyi State House of Assembly loyal to the new Speaker, Honorable Helen Nwobasi. All of them were rounded up in front of a state high court and are said to be under detention at the state police headquarters in Abakaliki. The lawmakers were in court today in pursuant of the suit filed against the impeached Speaker of the House, Honorable Chukwuma Nwazungu. They are asking the court to stop Honorable Nwazungu from parading himself as the Speaker. All of them were arrested while leaving the court premises. The political crisis in Rivers State is far from over, as rival groups from the APC and the PDP have refused to sheath their swords. Youths of the 2 parties in Rumu Ipirikom have taken up arms against each other, with yet another fracas at Rumibo, Ward 12 in the Rivers State capital, Port Harcourt, which left several people wounded.
It is a welcome party as Governor Chibike Amechi of Rivers State arrives Rumomasi in what the government calls Meet the People tour to the various wards in Obioko local government area of the state. For the Commissioner of Police in the state, such visits by the governor should be treated with caution. In his words, I advise the governor to ensure that his tour is not a campaign, that the Electoral Act stipulates that there will be no political campaign 90 days to the election. And the governor assured me that it is not a political campaign. Governor Amechi, however, had this to say to a large crowd of men and women, including traditional rulers, who came out to receive him.
Even though I don't agree with the Commissioner of Police, the Commissioner of Police has no right to tell me whether I'm campaigning or not. As Governor of Rivers State, I have a right to go to any part of Rivers State. But at the same time, I'm a law-abiding citizen. So when we come for state visits, don't call me leader of APC because I'm Governor of Rivers State. When you meet me at APC, I'm Governor of PDP. Unfortunately for Yeso Wike, I'm his governor.
After a scheduled visit to the Ward 12 of Rimugbo by the governor was postponed, armed youth suspected to be from APC and the PDP reportedly stormed the venue, leaving a trail of shattered windscreen, expended cartridges, and at least 7 people shot.
You know, my father had to shoot me from his house, close range. I was just in front of the house and shot me. I have 5 bullets, 5 gunshots in my body.
Some say this may just be the beginning of a more turbulent political crisis in the state and calls for quick action on the part of the police and other security agencies, even as the general election year inches close.
The House of Representatives Committee on Education has blamed the Ministry of Finance for the delay in the release of appropriated funds for education parastatals. The chairman of the committee, Aminu Fagi, said the delay has hampered budget implementation and execution of capital projects in the education sector. The Deputy Executive Secretary of Administration for the Commission told the lawmakers that only 35 million naira has been released so far out of the 130 million appropriated for the Commission for 2014.
$7 million, representing 27%. The Ministry of Finance is not more important, as far as I'm concerned, than any other ministry. And therefore, if the responsibilities as provided by the Constitution is for them to hold in trust and to disperse funds to other agencies, they should not be doing that at the whims and conferences of their choice.
When the news at 10 returns, Governor Babatunde Fashola inspects construction sites in Lagos. Join us again.